Sarah had always been a dreamer, living in a small town where ambitions were often stifled by routine and tradition. Yet, she wanted more than what her surroundings could offer. She craved recognition, a life of glamour, and a break from the ordinary. She wasn't ashamed of her aspirations. She wanted to be the biggest name in an industry that many judged but secretly consumed. Despite her bold dreams, Sarah was deeply grounded in her love for Alex. He was her rock, the one who believed in her even when the world didn't. Alex had his own dreams, though they were far simpler. He wanted a stable life, a family, and a peaceful future. Their connection was undeniable, but their paths seemed to diverge with every passing day. One quiet evening, as they sat on the balcony of Sarah's modest apartment, she decided to share her deepest ambition with him. The words were heavy on her tongue, but she knew she couldn't keep it a secret any longer. "I want to be the biggest star in the adult industry," she said, her voice steady but her eyes searching his for understanding. Alex froze, the words sinking in slowly. He looked at her, his expression a mix of surprise and confusion. "You're serious?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," Sarah replied. "I've thought about it for a long time. I know it's not conventional, but it's what I want. It's my chance to be someone, to make something of myself." Alex took a deep breath, trying to process what he'd just heard. He loved Sarah, but this was a world far removed from anything he had imagined for her, or for them. "I don't know what to say," he admitted. "I mean, I love you and I want you to be happy, but this is a lot to take in." "I understand," Sarah said softly. "But I need you to support me, Alex. This dream means everything to me. And I promise, I'll always put us first." Alex nodded slowly, though his heart felt heavy. He wanted to believe her, to trust that their love could withstand this, but doubt lingered in the back of his mind. Still, he didn't want to crush her spirit. "I'll try," he said finally. "I'll try to understand for you." In that moment, Sarah felt a rush of gratitude and relief. She leaned over and kissed him, whispering, "Thank you." But as they sat together under the night sky, the unspoken tension between them hung heavy. Sarah's ambition was a fire that couldn't be contained, and Alex was already beginning to feel its heat. Neither of them said it out loud, but deep down, they both knew that their love was about to face its greatest test. Sarah's journey began with small but decisive steps. She started exploring opportunities, reaching out to agencies discreetly, and attending auditions under the guise of modeling gigs. It felt surreal at first, stepping into an unfamiliar world that was both thrilling and intimidating. She kept most of it to herself, not wanting to burden Alex with the details she knew he wouldn't fully accept. Her first break came sooner than she expected. A talent scout noticed her potential, offering her an entry-level role that promised exposure and connections. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a step forward, and Sarah couldn't resist. The experience exhilarated her. For the first time, she felt like her dream was within reach. Alex, meanwhile, tried to be supportive, but he couldn't ignore the growing distance between them. Their once carefree conversations now felt strained, as if unspoken words hung heavy in the air. Date nights became less frequent, replaced by Sarah's work commitments. She often returned home late, her energy consumed by her burgeoning career. One night, Alex waited up for her, his thoughts a storm of emotions. When Sarah finally walked through the door, she looked tired but satisfied, her eyes shining with a mix of exhaustion and pride. "How was it?" Alex asked, attempting to sound enthusiastic. "It was good," Sarah replied, setting her bag down. "I think I'm starting to make a name for myself. People are noticing me, Alex." "That's great," he said, though his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. "But do you ever wonder what this is doing to us?" Sarah paused, caught off guard. "What do you mean?" "I mean, it feels like you're slipping away," Alex admitted. "I'm happy for you, but it's like we're not even on the same page anymore." Sarah sighed, sitting down beside him. "I'm doing this for us, Alex. For our future. If I make it, we'll have everything we've ever wanted: money, stability, freedom. But at what cost?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "I miss us, Sarah. the way we used to be. She reached for his hand, her grip firm. I miss us too. But I need you to trust me. This is just the beginning, and I promise it'll all be worth it. Alex wanted to believe her, but doubt gnawed at him. He saw how the industry was changing her, how her ambitions seemed to pull her further from the simple life they once dreamed of. Yet, he couldn't bring himself to let go. As Sarah's career gained momentum, the cracks in their relationship deepened. Invitations to glamorous events and collaborations with influential figures became her new normal. Alex, unable to keep up, began to feel like a shadow in her life. The love between them was still there, but it was buried beneath layers of unspoken fears and unmet expectations. Both of them were holding on, but neither could ignore the growing chasm that threatened to tear them apart. Sarah's career was taking off faster than she had anticipated. Her work gained traction, and with it came offers that promised to propel her to the top. One day, she received a contract from a prominent agency, a deal that guaranteed fame and fortune but required a full commitment. The opportunity was too good to pass up, but it came with a price. She had to sign immediately, without consulting anyone. Without hesitation, Sarah took the leap, convincing herself it was the right decision. She told herself Alex would understand eventually, that he would see her success and know she had made the right choice for their future. But deep down, a small voice nagged at her, warning her of the consequences. Alex found out a few days later, not from Sarah, but through a mutual friend who had seen her announcement online. The shock hit him like a wave, leaving him reeling with a mix of anger, betrayal, and heartbreak. He couldn't believe she hadn't told him, hadn't even considered his feelings. That evening, Alex confronted her. His voice was calm, but laced with hurt as he asked, "Why didn't you tell me?" Sarah froze, guilt flashing across her face. "I didn't want to burden you," she said quickly. "It all happened so fast, and I had to make a decision." "You didn't want to burden me?" Alex repeated, his tone incredulous. "Sarah, we're supposed to be a team. How could you make such a huge decision without even talking to me?" "I had to take it," Sarah said defensively. "This is everything I've been working for. I thought you'd understand." "Understand?" Alex's voice rose, his composure slipping. "You've been shutting me out for weeks, and now I find out through someone else that you've signed a contract that changes everything? How is that fair?" Sarah felt her frustration boil over. "Fair? Do you have any idea how hard I've worked for this? I'm doing this for us, Alex. For our future. Our future." Alex's laugh was bitter. "Don't lie to yourself, Sarah. This stopped being about us a long time ago. This is about you and your dream, and there's no room for me in it." The words hung heavy between them, the truth they had both been avoiding laid bare. "I love you," Sarah said softly, tears welling in her eyes. "But I can't give up my dream. Not now, not when I'm so close. And I can't keep doing this," Alex said, his voice breaking. "I can't keep pretending I'm okay with watching you drift further and further away. I deserve someone who values what we have, not someone who's willing to risk it all for fame." The silence that followed was deafening. They both knew there was nothing left to say. That night, Alex packed his things and left, leaving Sarah alone with her choices. As the door closed behind him, she realized that the success she had fought so hard for suddenly felt hollow. Years passed, and Sarah's name became synonymous with success in her industry. She had achieved everything she set out to do: fame, wealth, and recognition on a global scale. But with all her triumphs came an emptiness she couldn't shake. The lavish parties, the accolades, and the endless stream of admirers never filled the void that Alex's absence had left in her heart. Her nights were often spent alone, staring at the city lights from her penthouse apartment, wondering if it had all been worth it. She had everything she thought she wanted, yet she couldn't ignore the quiet ache of regret that lingered beneath her polished exterior. Alex, on the other hand, had built a life for himself far removed from the chaos of Sarah's world. He had moved to a new town, started a small business, and found a sense of peace in the simplicity he had always craved. He dated occasionally, but never quite connected with anyone the way he had with Sarah. She remained a bittersweet memory, a reminder of love lost and lessons learned. One fateful afternoon, their paths crossed again. Sarah was in town for an event and decided to visit a quaint cafe she and Alex used to frequent. She didn't expect to see him there, sitting by the window with a book in hand. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the years melted away. Sarah felt her heart race as she approached him, her carefully constructed composure faltering. "Hi, Alex," she said softly, her voice carrying a mixture of hope and apprehension. He looked up, surprise flashing across his face before he managed a small smile. "Sarah, it's been a while." They sat together, talking about their lives and everything that had happened since they last saw each other. Sarah confessed how hollow her success had felt without him, how she often thought about the life they could have had. "I thought achieving my dream would make me happy," she admitted. "But I lost so much along the way, especially you. I didn't realize how much you meant to me until it was too late." Alex listened, his expression thoughtful. "We both made choices, Sarah. You followed your dream, and I followed mine. Maybe we weren't meant to walk the same path, but that doesn't mean what we had wasn't real." She nodded, tears brimming in her eyes. "Do you think we could ever go back? Fix what we lost?" Alex hesitated before answering, his voice gentle but firm. "I think we've both grown too much to go back. But that doesn't mean we can't move forward, separately, but better for having known each other." Sarah smiled through her tears, a sense of closure washing over her. They parted ways with an understanding that while their love had shaped them, it wasn't meant to last forever. As Sarah walked away, she felt lighter, as though a burden she had carried for years had finally been lifted. She realized that true success wasn't about fame or fortune, but about understanding what truly matters in life and learning to let go when you need to.